life, to living the meaning of life, to expressing one's existence in a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has engendered. وَصَلَاحُ الْمُرِيدِينَ. What's that one?
It's the weapon of the seekers.
Okay, so those people who walk the path, those people who run on the path, who fly down the path, swim down the path as the case may be, and who seek the key or have the key to Allah, to the treasures that Allah Azza wa Jal has, and in particular the main one, reality, their weapon is what? Remembrance of Allah. When the Prophet of Allah, when they came to kill him, when he was making the hijrah from Mecca to Medina, he just got a bit of sand and he threw it. He said, Shahat al-wujuh, Shahat al-wujuh, Shahat al-wujuh, al-hayy al-qayyum. So he just got a bit of dirt and he threw it in the air, and there was 100 men and they all got blind. He walked straight through, except one of them. Except one. There was one to see him go by, to bear witness to the others and to bear witness that that's what happened. So we get the story as well. So when he went through, there was one of them, but he's not going to do anything because the Quraysh, anyway, long story, but from the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah Azza wa Jal, that was a weapon against the disbelievers. And then there's Hamim as well. Hamim is also a weapon. There's two letters from the Quran that if you're being attacked, whatever the case might be, you say those words Hamim, Hamim 7 times, inshallah, to repel the attack. So it's for the people who are murideen, as you say, seekers. So the people that are seekers, and the reason why that word's used is because that individual has to focus their life on that point. It's not just something they do every once in a while. It's the focus of their being. It's the focus of their existence. It's their main goal in life. That's why they're called a seeker. وَنُشُورُ الْوَلَايَةِ or الْوِلَايَةِ. What's he saying?
And the unfolding of sainthood.
So, in terms of nushur, it does have the connotation of unfolding, but nashara, to spread out. It spreads. It becomes more encompassing of wilaya. In other words, those stations of the special ones, the chosen ones, the beloved ones, and mukhlasin under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the remembrance of Allah. And as we read on, it'll become more clear. So, he goes to the first verse, كما قال بعد العام, so I said that. وقد قال تعالى اذكروني أذكركم.
God the Exalted has said, remember me and I shall remember you.
What do you reckon? Who read that again, please?
Remember me and I shall remember you.
فاذكروني أذكركم. What do you think? Who did anyone, did they get any connection to this verse? Yeah. Any understanding from what was said? What did you get? Tell us.
I got, if you remember God, He will remember you. Like if you say, if you pray 5 times a day, He will give you something back for praying. In other words.
Yep.
So.
Anyone else get hit or affected by it? Yeah, hold on.
Plural. It says أذكركم. So all of you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I did, but I can't say that in the heart.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's like saying, like Allah knows who you are. Is it like knows who you are, but like just when you remember Him, He like He has you like giving blessings to you.
Yeah. Like on Facebook, if you put a comment or change your profile, what's it called? Profile picture.
Yeah.
Profile picture, or you do something and you get heaps of hits and hits,
Likes
you heaps of likes and comments. Oh, you feel happy. I'm pretty important. I feel good about myself. Because a lot of people are liking me and commenting on me, so I must have some importance. Or someone, they get put on TV or radio, or they're starring in a music video, or whatever, they're even on a reality show. Whatever the case might be, there's a self-importance about that there's some sort of success there. So the human nature, لَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْئًا مَذْكُورًا. Allah Azza wa Jalla says about the human being. Human being was something that wasn't even thought of or remembered or relevant. لَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْئًا مَذْكُورًا. So human beings like to be remembered. Human beings like to be, it's our egotistical way. We like to be mentioned. We like people to know about what we've done, unfortunately, misfortunately. And there Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us the secret of why remembrance is such a great thing. Allah says, you remember me, I'll remember you.
So can you flip that and say, if you neglect him, he'll neglect you?
Exactly what the case is. Except if you're a believer, then Allah doesn't like to leave the believers. Allah, one of the names of Allah is As-Sabur, the patient or persevering, or whatever the case is. Sabur is patient perseverance. Allah will have patience on a believer that's doing ma'asi, that's doing bad things, that's being disobedient, because Allah wants that person back. So it depends on the individual and what Allah's got for that. But definitely, neglect Allah. Allah happens to say that Dawood alayhi salam, you know, he reached high levels, he was a king and all this. He said, Ya Allah, leave me for 1 year, just let me, don't protect me, don't look after me, don't do nothing, this, that, this, and I'll be right. He said, no. Allah said, no, you can't. He said, well, what about 1 month? He said, no, you can't. 1 week? No. 1 day? No. 1 hour? He said, you can't. But he kept on saying, Ya Allah, let me go, Ya Allah, let me go, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, until Allah said, alright, no worries. So he said, okay, it's easy, I'll go to the masjid, and I'll sit in the masjid 1 hour. So he's sitting there, then he sees this beautiful bird fly through the window, and it's flying around, and it flies out, he looks out, and as he looks out, he sees this woman, and when Al-Zubillah, he's enamored by this woman, falls in love with her, and she's married, he's the general of the army, he sends her husband off somewhere to die, and it creates a big fitna for Sayyidina Dawood. And don't worry, Sayyidina Dawood had 100 wives and 300 concubines, so you go figure.
Wow.
Is this a story how he lost his throne?
Yeah, that's it.
And he put the jasad on that.
So that's the lead up to it.
1 hour.
1 hour, he couldn't, and he was in the masjid. 1 hour in the masjid, in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Azza wa Jal, you remember him, he remembers you. You remember him, and he remembers you. That's the secret of dhikr. That's the whole secret. You don't want to be remembered by Allah. Allah is the be-all and end-all of all things, the creator of all things, the destroyer of all things, the maintainer of all things, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the secret. So if Allah is remembering you, saying, oh, that's so-and-so, Abdul there, Mahmoud, whatever, whoever, Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, whoever it is, Allah is remembering you. And Allah is not just remembering your name. Don't think it's just Allah remembering your name. Like we might, Allah, 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 alhamdulillah. We just, maybe our, but Allah, when He remembers you, He remembers you, who you are, what you're about, everything about you, because He created you, He knows you perfectly. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the secret of dhikr. That's why dhikr is such an amazing thing. And then He says, وَقَالَ تَعَالَى فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وقعودا وعلى جنوبكم وقال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا.
And remember God while standing, sitting, and on your sides. And, O you who believe, remember God abundantly.
So those two are related. Those two are related. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلٍ. Allah Azza wa Jal created death and life to see which one of us, or to burden which either one of all of us or each one of us individually, to see which one of us has the most excellent of deeds. So Allah Azza wa Jal in all deeds looks for quality, not quantity. Except what does He say? اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا. This is the only thing, because it's such a special thing. Everything else, if you fast, you have to watch what you say, what you do, concentrate on it, don't backbite, be careful of these things. When you pray, you can't think of anything else. You've got to focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the particular movements, stop doing this, stop doing that, face a particular way, dress a particular way. When you go to Hajj, you can't muck around at all during the whole time. Zakat, you've got to make sure your money's from here. There's no riba involved. You haven't taken it by deception, etc., etc. Everything in life that a person's got to do is bound by that quality or bound by that standard of excellence. Except dhikr. Do it anyhow. Standing, sweet. Sitting, great. Lying down, fantastic. It's got a lot of dhikr. Any way except in the toilet, or if you're in like a garbage dump, or you're taking the rubbish out and putting it in the bin. Except that, and if you're in a state of janaba. You guys know what janaba is, ritual impurity after ejaculation or intercourse. Okay, so that, except that state there, that a person, the Sahaba, they used to make so much dhikr, when they went to the bathroom, they would get a pebble and put it under their tongue to remind themselves not to remember Allah. There's a hadith that says that the person will make dhikr so much that people will think he's crazy or she's crazy. So if you say, yes, if you say to someone, astaghfirullah, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why should anything be wrong? I'm saying istighfar. No, what's wrong? What's happening? A big issue. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. What's going on? Ya Sattar, Ya Halim, Ya Kareem, whatever the case might be, everyone freaks out. That's at the end of time as well. People, when they remember Allah a lot, people say this person's nuts. The hadith says at the end of time when people remember Allah a lot, people think they're nuts. So for us, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, it's the remembrance of Allah in all states and in all conditions as well, except those ones we mentioned in the place. And the bathroom doesn't mean the shower. If you're in the shower and your toilet is in a different room, like some houses are like that, it's fine to remember Allah there. But where there's a toilet, that's where the harman is. It's haram to say Allah's name, because Allah's name is pure, and that's a place of khubuth wa khaba'ith. It's a place of filth. So those two don't go together. But if you're in a shower, or you're at the beach or pool, no worries. If you're in a shower that's separate from that, someplace, like I said, they have that. There's no worries. And then, اذكروا فاذكروا الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبكم. There's no need for any particular way to do it. When you're in any, you can be upside down even and do it if you want. Going on the bungee rocket and you can be doing it. Whatever on the Ferris wheel or the roller coaster or whatever it is, you can make the dhikr of Allah. There's nothing to stop you doing it. Any condition, any state except those ones that we mentioned. وقال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله. We said that, sorry. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم يقول الله تعالى أنا عند ظن عبدي بي وأنا معه حين يذكرني فإن ذكرني في نفسه ذكرته في نفسي وإن ذكرني في ملأ ذكرته في ملأ خيرا منه وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام just go there.
The Messenger of God sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, God the Exalted says, I am as my servant thinks me to be, and am with him when he remembers me. When he remembers me within himself, I remember him within myself. And when he remembers me in a company, I remember him in a better company.
So the other hadith is relevant. يقول الله تعالى أنا جليس من ذكرني.
And God says, I am the companion of him who remembers me.
Alright? So that's pretty straightforward. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty sensational. That's pretty out of this world. It says Allah says, I'm according to the, what is it, done?
I am as my servant thinks me to be.
Okay, so it's the perception basically. I'm according to my perception, I'm according to the perception that my servant thinks that I am. So if you think Allah's harsh and violent or whatever, then Allah will be like that towards you. If you think Allah's forgiving and merciful and you act that way, Allah will inshallah be that way towards you. And I am with my servant, as long as my servant, as we're saying, I'm with my servant, as long as my servant remembers me. Isn't that what we all want? Isn't that what we're all seeking? Isn't that what all this social media and all this internets and phones and communicating with people and networking, and isn't that what it's about? Isn't that it's about having people around you that make you feel comfortable? Having people around you that make you hopefully be a better you? And here's Allah saying that I am with the person that remembers me at the time they remember me. So if a person remembers them, in other words, if a person remembers Allah by themselves, Allah will remember that person on his own, on his own subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن ذَكَرْنِي فِي مَلَئٍ ذَكَرْتَهُ فِي مَلَئٍ خَيْرًا مِنْ. What does he say for mala? Gathering?
Company. Or
Company. Okay? So Allah says, if you remember me in a company, like now we're remembering Allah, I think you need to turn the AC on, turn it down a little bit.
It's not even on.
Oh, you need to turn it on, and turn it down, if you don't mind. Flip that switch, brother. Turn it down to -5, I think.
I do want to, but I can't control
Yes,
it.
but
Oh, no, just leave it for a day, he'll take it. What's the room temperature? 24.
It's 15.
Yeah, it's 24.
So put it about 22.
15 is the most.
No, everyone's going to sleep.
I put up 20. I've got 11.
Yeah, it's
30.
good.
Turn it on high, please, Ade. That'll do, bro, that'll do.
That's what
Jazakallah
you
khair.
put it. Okay.
It's good. The ulama of old, that's what they used to do. They never used to keep warm. They used to make sure they were cold so they could stay up at night and learn and study and revise. It's alright. We just try and be like them tonight. We'll be alright. If anyone gets a cold, I've got heaps of vitamin C tablets. Come by. I'll give you as many as you need.
$20 a kilo.
No, free, don't worry. We're going to take some organic oranges. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام يقول الله تعالى أنا جليس من ذكرني. Allah Azza wa Jal says Jalis. Now we can't say that as Allah sitting, standing, but Jalis means to sit. That's what the word Jalasa means. So Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, if you get cold, let me know, then we'll just turn it off. If someone gets cold, I was only geeing you up. If someone gets cold, let us know they're going to feel like you're going to get sick, let us know what's going on. Okay? So Allah sits with the one, if you want to be really specific about the literal translation, sits with the one who remembers him. I don't know, is it going through, or is it like just like too heavy, or is it, are we not getting it, or is it pretty sweet, or...
Okay.
This whole thing, how great dhikr is and how Allah is with the person who remembers him. Is that pretty good or not good, or awesome or sensational or tremendous or fantastic?
It's exquisite.
Exquisite. Okay? وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام ألا أنبئكم بخير أعمال وأزكاها عند مليككم وأرفعها في درجاتكم وخير لكم من إنفاق الذهب والورق ومن أن تلقوا عدوكم فتضربوا أعناقهم ويضربوا أعناقكم قالوا بلى قال ذكر الله.
And he said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, shall I not inform you of the best of your actions, the purest in the sight of your Lord, and the most elevating to your degrees, which is better for you than spending gold and silver, and then meeting your enemies so that you strike at their necks and they strike at yours? They said, yes. And he said, the remembrance of God.
Big deal or not a big deal?
I have no idea.
Huge.
Alright, we'll go through it.
Not mad at all.
Sweet. Okay? Allah Prophet said, should I not tell you about the best of deeds? Do you want to know what the best of deeds are? Okay, you want to know. Great. And then he says, not only is it the best of deeds, he says it's azkaha inda malikikum. It's the most pure with regards to Allah. Allah considers it the most pure. And then he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, وَأَرْفَعُهَا فِي دَرَجَاتِكُمْ. And it will be, what did he say in English?
Most elevating to your degrees.
That's exactly right. The most elevating to your degree. Because what's our benchmark in terms of our degrees? What's our, not PhDs, professors and masters and bachelors, diplomas and associate diplomas. What's the degree that the benchmark of degrees for us human beings? No, not temperature, degree instead of status.
Scholar.
What's the benchmark? You're getting there.
Wali.
What more? What's the benchmark? Even more.
Prophet.
Alayhi salatu
Sallallahu
wassalam.
Alaihi Wasallam.
That's the benchmark. Can you sit? You want to sit somewhere you can see a book? Sit here maybe, or over there, or Alright? So when we say to someone, you're not normal, what's the normal standard for us? The Prophet of Allah, that's normal. Whatever isn't like the Prophet of Allah is abnormal. Or you even might say deviant. If it's against what the Prophet of Allah says, what isn't with the Prophet of Allah is abnormal, and what's against the Prophet of Allah is deviant. So when we talk what's normal, what's not normal, we don't use the standard that, because don't forget, the standard of the Prophet of Allah is eternal till the end of time. The standards for everything else in 1910, a man, if he went out on the street without a hat, disrespectful. If a young boy wore trousers before he became pubescent, disrespectful. If a woman showed her ankle, she was called a harlot, a loose woman. Is that the same now? Relax, what do you mean? She's liberated. That's it, she can do whatever she wants now. She's free from the shackles of masculinity and misogynism and feminist revolution. She's so free that now she's got to be a mother and a homemaker, and she's got to go and work, and she's got to be a man, and she's got to be a woman. That's how free she's become with the feminist movement. Very free. So, not the standards that were held by people at this time and that time and this time and that time. The standard is the Prophet of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam. He's the benchmark, alayhi salatu wasalam. And everyone on the Day of Judgment gets compared to him in terms of status. So, the closer you are to the Prophet of Allah ﷺ in proximity, the closer you are to Allah, the higher your status is. And if we want to really understand how we need to, who our heroes are basically. If it's Sunny Bill Williams, which is alright because he's a Muslim. Bar the Tats, he's alright, alhamdulillah. He's doing something good, he's doing some dawah. But in reality, his role model is who? The Prophet of Allah ﷺ. Whoever your role model is, what's that guy's name? The Rock. He's big, he's got muscles, whatever. Sorry, sisters, I know I always do the masculine thing, but by virtue of being a male. Yeah, whatever, he's a star and he's got a nice smile and he's a good wrestler and he's wealthy or whatever, but what's going to happen to his muscles?
Made of steroids.
Yeah, that's right. Go ask Arnold Schwarzenegger, had a heart attack and he was sick and whatever else. That's temporary. Alright, if your whatever role model is Stephen Hawkins or someone, what's going to happen to his brain? It's going to go one day. That's it. It's finished. Everyone's going to happen. They're going to be Allah's going to return us back to a time when we're like kids. We can't walk properly, and incontinence, and people have to wear nappies when they're 80 years old, and they put them in homes and all these different things. So those things they're not lasting. But the standard of the Prophet of Allah, generations after generations after generations after generations of people have been aspiring to reach that standard. Because that's the benchmark that Allah uses. And that's what normality is. So if we, inshallah, try and make that our normal status and what we go for, then inshallah we'll be successful in that way.
So, like, trying to relate it to this, say how he says it's elevating to your degree, so in the same sense.
Remembering Allah brings your degree closer to the Prophet of Allah, because that's what he was constantly doing. I think we should have an agreement that when we come into the classroom, either we turn our phones off, or we turn them off, or we turn them off. One of those three. You can choose which one of those three you want to do.
Either way,
Your mobile phone, or just put it in your bag, or in your handbag, or in your pocket, or in your purse, or wherever it is that you're not going to be distracted by your phone, not on the table, please.
I've been there for an hour, I haven't looked at it.
That's alright, please. Please, Malish, just humour me on this one, bro. Humour me on this one. It's okay. I know it's devastating to feel. You don't have to turn it off, just get off the
Just
table.
turning it off, just in case.
Just
in
to
case
get off
someone
the
decides
table.
to like me all
In
the time.
case something, because, look, I know, and that's what dhikr is about. Funnily enough, that's what dhikr is about. See that emptiness you feel when you're away from your mobile phone? That's real. It's not false. It's true. It's real. But you're not supposed to fill it with Facebook and LinkedIn and I don't know what else is going on out there. Twitter, is that pretty? Instagram, all these things. You're not supposed to fill it with that. You're supposed to fill it with the dhikr of Allah. Like, it's good that we feel that today. Because when I was young, we never felt that. Only on Sundays when we got bored. Because we didn't have that connection to anything really, except probably footy or running around and riding our bikes. Because we didn't have that. There weren't even video games, and the Commodore 64 first came out when I was young. You know, there wasn't those things that, and even TV was black and white. It wasn't even that great to watch, and it was only like this big, 34 centimeters. It was tiny. Now it's all so. It's good that you feel that. Don't think it's bad. It's good that you feel that detachment, but fill it with something else. Fill your heart with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Get one of those counters like the cricket umpires use to count up to 6. They got them. We're a bit more high tech these days. You can get an app on your phone, iSubha. Use it. The other day I went to the city.
Can I find it online?
Not now. After class, you can find it online. Nice try. So I went to the city the other day and I saw the people that everyone had their phone out. Before, people used to read the newspaper. Not that it's that great. They used to read a book. There was one lady reading a book and everyone else had their phones. I was like, all right, I'm going to check this out. I walked through the carriage and I did not see one person doing anything constructive on their phones. Men, women, I don't know if they were professors, judges, engineers, they were all playing like, not Angry Birds, but that's the only game I know.
Candy Crush.
Whatever it was, you guys
What's
are
the downtime?
sad, man. You guys are sad. I didn't realise
They're not all
bad,
gays.
so. I mean, looking at that small screen is no good for your eyes.
That's why I bought an Xbox.
Even that big one, to look at it for a long time, it's no good for your eyes, man. Even if it's that big. Look at how big the dunya is. Your eyes are made to see all these great, glorious things. It's not made to be trapped like in a little thing like that. It's not good for your mind. It makes your mind mush because, look, the LCD screen, it's a liquid. It's not real. It's not real, bro. Whatever's on there is just it goes. Your brain turns. I can't even remember my wife's phone number, her mobile number, because I don't. In the old days, I remember 50, 100, 200, 300 numbers. I can't even remember my number. The other day, like, what's your fax number? Oh, wait a minute. I just wrote anything down so I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking. Because these things, that's what they do to your mind. They make your mind soft. When you read a book, it's there. It's tangible. It's not going nowhere unless you set it on fire. But the other one, it just changes. Your mind can't adapt, and that's why everyone's getting dopier. What is it? There's science, there's research on it. Don't believe me. Go look on the internet, and you'll find it.
Catch-22,
Juxtaposition, whatever you want to do. Okay? Find out, do the research, and you'll find it there. Like, it has its good place and it has its bad. But if you're attached to it, and when you're away from it, you're feeling an emptiness, that emptiness is dhikr. You need to put dhikr in there, in your heart. And why everyone's eyes are red these days and they're glazed over, because they're always looking at their phones. Always. And I suggest to you, take it or leave it, go into your phone and delete all the apps you don't need. And go into wherever you've got your, on your computer, wherever you back up your phone to. Delete all the things you don't need. Do a spring cleaning, isn't it spring now? Go and spring clean your phone. All those things that waste time. If you want to do something, go get an Islamic quiz thing. They ask you questions and you answer it, and when you get it right or wrong, it tells you this is the thing. Do something beneficial. Do something crosswords. I don't know if they got it on thing, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Something that you're. But even then, it's better not to do it. If you want downtime, remember Allah. If you want downtime, read the Quran. If you want downtime, have a conversation with someone. Someone was telling me the story the other day. I don't know if it's true. I have my doubts about the story, because it just doesn't sound real to me. Someone was saying that they had a friend, and that friend was desperate to go somewhere. Desperate to go. Desperate to go. And there was something going on, and that person said, no, I'm going to this place. I've got to go see this person. So that person went off to see her friends, gave her half the thing. She went off to see her friends, and this other person, she went to see what was so important, because they were together. She said, I've got to go now. So she goes, she kind of comes around the back, and they're all sitting there laughing. They're all sitting outside. There's the ladies are all sitting there laughing, and she's looking at, no one's talking to anyone. They're all laughing, no one's talking to anyone. She came up, she saw, there's 3 ladies sitting there, and they're not kids. They got kids, and some of them, no one's kids had kids yet, but on the verge of their kids having kids. They're sitting there with Viber, sending messages to one another. They're all sitting next to each other and laughing. and laughing.
That's not.
Is that true? Is that-
That's
That's
true.
It's true,
That's
right?
very
That
Happens,
happen?
happens in our own living rooms.
Okay?
Good God.
Don't give anything away, okay? But what's happening now, that's crazy now. Like, that's not normal.
I laugh at people.
That's not normal. There's something wrong with you. Sorry, whoever that's doing that. That's something wrong. That's not normal, man. All right, if someone's in Lebanon, someone's in Saudi, someone's in New Zealand, someone's in Pimble, someone's in these gardens, all right, it's fine. Send them a couple of messages. But all the other people, they just message. Just call them. Message. 2 hours back and forth. Now, that's not normal. That's not normal. Going to the standard of the Prophet of Allah, you would say that's insane. You would say that's insanity. We're just saying it's not like, there's got to be a limit on things in life. Everything has to have a limit. And the phone's got to have a limit. You've got to have a time in the day where you get your phone and you keep it away for a half an hour, all right, 10, all right, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Start off with 5 minutes. Detach yourself from your phone for 5 minutes. And then don't think about think about Allah. If you thought about Allah as much as you thought about your phone,
We all live by that.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because now you've got a standard to compare yourself to. Alhamdulillah, like I said, in my day, we didn't have a standard, we were just bored all the time, so we didn't know that we were bored. But you guys are lucky that you've got sometimes when you're not bored. You know, we didn't have all the things, we just had riding our bikes, so we'd leave in the morning and we ride all day, and we come home. That's our day. It's, you know, we get in trouble, whatever. But it's not like today where it's an instant thing. So use that thing positively. When you feel that, put it down. It's okay. Breathe. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Make the dhikr of Allah. Watch. You'll feel the difference. And then gradually, you'll start to... Well, I've got 2 phones and I hate both of them. I wish I didn't have to have a phone. I wish I didn't have to. I should have to sit on the computer and, you know, like it's good because, like when you're doing something, you can cut and paste, and you can, if you make a mistake, I don't have a problem with the word processing, but it's the overuse of it. It's the overuse of it. And what are they doing now? What's the new one? Now that fingerprint. Mahak?
Yeah.
Where's that fingerprint going? Thanks for that. I appreciate the extra information. All right. Obviously, it's an iPhone. Okay. Where's that fingerprint going? Where are they storing it? Where's that information going? Then it's going to be a retina one next. Where's that info? What's happening? It's going to be. That's how it goes. That's the development of getting people into a system where they can't get out of that system. Watch all the disaster movies. They don't use digital phones. They're telling you. They're telling you on the movie that if you do that, you're trapped. They're going to find you. They're going to trap. They're going to get
We
you.
do that.
Whatever, you know. So the movies here, we go there and we zonk out. Popcorn, choc tops, massive thing of sugar. But think about it when you watch the movie. How many times I've watched movies with brothers and people and they look at me and go, "Oh man, what happened then?" What do you mean what happened? You've been sitting for 2 hours watching the movie. 2 hours you've been watching it. And it's not like it's at home. The thing's like, 25 metres by 25 metres, and the speakers are so loud that when it goes boom, your clothes shake. Like, how are you not paying attention to that? I don't understand. Maybe they're on their phone the whole time. Maybe that's what's going on. I'm not seeing it. All right, but let your brain work. Let it be working. If it's zonked out in that state of angry vertebrae. Like, and I'm saying to you, like 40, 45, 50-year-old people, who knows what they do? They might run the country. I don't know. Maybe they're surgeons and they're sitting there with a gun. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. All right, like if my nephew gets the phone and he plays it, he's a kid. They're kids, man. That's what kids are supposed to do. Anyway, so when you feel that disassociation with your phone, that boredom, use it for dhikr. Use that time to remember Allah, even if it's for a bit. And then gradually, the flavour of remembering Allah will fill your heart and it'll fill your mind, and you'll be like, this is boring. This is, you know, it might take a while, but you'll be like, man, what am I doing? What am I really actually doing? What is this thing that I'm doing it with? What's the reality of this thing? Why am I always on call to everybody else, but I'm not on call to Allah? Why am I on call to everybody else, but not to myself? I'm waiting for things to happen. I'm a reactive rather than an active, rather than proactive. When someone calls me, oh yeah, what's happening? But I'm not doing it. I'm just there for I don't have a reason or a purpose, or I'm not fulfilling my reasonable purpose. Those types of things. وخير لكم من إنفاق الذهب والورق.
Yeah, which is better for you than spending gold and silver.
Alright? Like in the way of Allah, not spending it on yourself or getting a $400 pair of jeans or whatever the case might be. Spending it in the way that Allah is happy with it. ومن أن تلقوا عدوكم فتضربوا أعناقهم ويضربوا أعناقكم.
And that you meet your, sorry, and better than meeting your enemies, so that you strike at their necks and they strike at yours.
Okay? That's for the men in particular. They said the guy got killed today in Syria. He's an Aussie and he went there and he did an explosion and whatever was going on. So us men, we like to, that's
Good.
our way to express our manhood. We want to kill and be killed. So he said it's better than that. And he said, the Prophet said, do you want me to tell you what's better than that? He said, Bala. What does he say, Bala?
Yes.
Yes, Bala is more than yes. It's for sure. Definitely, Ya Rasulullah. Definitely. Americans say it all the time. Do you want ice cream? Sure. They say it a lot. Sure. Bala. It's because it's a certain word. What do we say?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Whatever.
Australia.
Come on, bro.
I'm joking.
No, what do we say? We do. We're nonchalant about everything. Whatever. Oh yeah. Oh, if you're going to bring it, I'll drink it. That's how we are. Oh, it's up to you. Exactly. We're not sure about anything. Americans, oh, definitely, yeah, sure. That's how they are. They're sure. That's it. They want it. Yep. Are you offering it? Yep. They want it. They're sure about themselves. Us, not so sure.
We're laid back.
Yeah, they're too laid back. The guy gets his fingers slammed in the door. There's a hurt. Yeah, a bit. What do you mean there's a hurt? Tala'araha, as they say. My soul's left my body. What do you mean there's a hurt? Kills. But that's not how we are. You know what I mean? So, in terms of they were sure they wanted to hear from the Prophet of Allah. They were definitive, no doubt. Bala ya Rasulullah. Not na'am. Na'am in the Arabic language can mean yes and it can mean no. Bala, yeah, we want to know. What did he say, alayhi salatu wasalam? Dhikrullah. Better than all those things. And it happened at the time of the Sahaba. At the time of the Sahaba, the Prophet of Allah said, the poor people came to him and they said, Ya Rasulullah, the rich people, they're spending all this money. And we can't keep up with their deeds, like we can't do what they're doing. He said, all right, do this dhikr. He gave him a dhikr, I can't remember. It might have been subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. And then they went and did it and they said, sweet. And then they asked the Prophet of Allah, saying, are we higher than them? He said, oh, he's a flying. They can't catch us. And then the rich people started to hear about it. And then they started doing it. And they came back and they said, Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? So they beat you. They said, what can we do? He said, I can't do anything. That's just your nasib. That's your status. So it's better than all these things. And what is it? The remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look, don't think that, man, what's this guy talking about, bro? What remembrance, man? Look at us. We live in Australia. V8 cars, V10, V12, whatever's going to come after that. 8 litre, 6 litre, whatever it is. All these things going on. Technology and fitna and TVs and DVDs and CDs and whatever else is going on. What do you mean? What? So you think if you walk, the ladies, not sisters, and the sisters too, half undressed or fully undressed. Not my words, the Prophet said it. Kasiyat al-Ariyat. They're wearing clothes but they're naked. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam. And I used to think it was back in the days when women first, because then when I was young, if a woman wear tights, the whole street will stop. When I was young, if a woman wore tights, the whole street will stop. Now, then later on they started wearing them in the streets, and I remember that's the hadith for sure. And now the hijabi women, they're wearing the tights. No offense, sisters, no offense, but that's the meaning of the hadith, not what all the other stuff is there. When the lady, she's got the hijab, and she's naked, everything is so tight. So the brother's saying, man, what do you mean, Sheikh? Everyone's doing all these things and you tell me to remember Allah? Is anyone getting cold? Should we turn the AC down? You getting cold? You see how everyone's awake now before everyone's like, I want to go home, man, when's this going to be over? Now when you get a bit cold, and that's the secret from when you want to learn knowledge, when you've got exams, assignments, you want to read the Quran, whatever the case is. But just don't get to the point where you get sick. Anyway, So if you see that happening, if you see half-naked summer's coming and it's crazier than it's ever been ever before, and every year it gets crazier, so you're walking and you see that scene that you don't want to see, I can't remember Allah then, you say astaghfirullah. So astaghfirullah, it's a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk. You can't say that if you live in Mecca, you can't say that. You can't get the rewards that you can get here. Even the prayers of 100,000 in Mecca, but you can't get the reward that you can get here. Because the things that are going on here, you see two people kissing in the street, you see someone stealing, you see someone taking drugs and alcoholic drinking, you say astaghfirullah and you hate that sin in your heart, the darajah elevates. The dhikr of Allah, we've just read it. Allah elevates your status. You're in the bank, you're lining up or whatever, online transaction, you're saying Bismillah, astaghfirullah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. In a place of dhulm, because banks are the ribawi system and all that sort of stuff. In a place of darkness, light is there and you're the cause for it. And you could be the only one for kilometers if you're in the city, if you're there, if you're here, if you're wherever, where there aren't many Muslims. You think Allah's not going to elevate you? You think Allah's not going to put nur in your heart? You're representing Allah. Allah is remembering you. And if there's people around and they're hearing it, Allah's remembering you in a gathering, we forgot to say, a gathering of angels. And don't think Allah's just remembering and saying, oh yeah, Uday's a cruiser. He's saying, Uday's better than yous. Look at my servant Uday. Look at him. And he could be doing that and he could be doing this. But look, he's worshipping me and yous are angels and you got no choice. You have to obey what I'm saying, but he's doing it out of his own free will. Yubahil malaika. That's what Allah's doing when He sees us remembering Him, when He hears us remembering, when He hears us in a gathering remembering Him. All of us are being mentioned in the gathering right now. The angels are around us right now, up and down, left and right, going around. The nur is going into the sky. Now, and when you do that individually, that's what's happening. When you get on the train or the bus and say, Subhanallah, sakhkhar lana hada, to the end of the dua. When all the different things that you're doing, you're remembering Allah and those things, it becomes a part of your life. Even when you go to the bathroom, showering, when you're doing all these things by remembering Allah. And the harder the situation is, the greater the reward is. And the greater the reward, the more Allah is happy with you. The more Allah is happy with you, the higher your status. You think, oh, there's no walis. Nearly everyone's a wali. Anyone who lives in this country and they're not having illicit sexual relations, they're not masturbating day and night, they're not looking at pornography, they're not involved in homosexual relations, they're not gambling, they're not using riba, they're not lying to get money from the government, and they're praying, they're fasting, they're trying. That person's a wali. Are you crazy, man? That person's beloved to Allah. That person, but unfortunately the sister, that she's a nerd, as we could define them. She's, as is defined, she doesn't go out, she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke drugs, she doesn't pop pills, she doesn't have 50 guys or whatever, like connections to guys with their shirts off and they've got nipple rings and belly rings and long hair and six-pack and all that sort of stuff. No one sees that sister. No one sees her when her friends or her schoolmates are out going clubbing, getting onto guys and losing their minds and their virginity. She's doing what Allah wants. You think Allah doesn't love that person? You think that person's not a wali? You think that person's not being remembered in a gathering? You think Allah Azza wa Jal isn't elevating that person's status? That's the most beloved, especially the sisters, because they're the ambassadors. Me, I'll take this off, no worries. No one's going to know. I've got shorts underneath my thing, my jubba. No one's going to know. The beard's a bit long, but we can deal with that with a pair of scissors and a razor. I can go undercover. But a sister can't. How's she going to go undercover?
Take it off.
She can't. Then there's a big issue for her. For me, it's halal to take it off. For her, it's not. So do you think Allah's not remembering her? I think, of course. Of course. In this place, that's the waliyah. That's the waliyah. That's the wilayah. Because Allah is using that person to change, for people to say, oh, they're Muslims, that's what they're like. That person's got a role, that person's da'wah just by their presence. So, don't think that, we have to live in Saudi Arabia or Mecca or Medina to do these things. It's the opposite. We're lucky here. When I was in Yemen, I was studying, and we used to sit with the biggest awliya, and we say to them, like, alhamdulillah, we talk to people about Islam, and some people became Muslim. They freak out. They freak out. The His are so lucky that you get to talk to people about Islam. We don't. We talk to Muslims. preaching to the converted, as they say, or to the choir. That's the dhikr, that's the status, that's the wilayah. That's the wilayah. And if a person's like that, they make a mistake, think Allah's not going to forgive them? If they repent to Allah, of course, that person has to repent.
What's the meaning of the word wilaya?
Wilayah is a station, a status given to a person by Allah Azza wa Jal. So we said darajat, what's the English? What did you say?
Degrees.
Degrees. And we said, go back to that word degrees, not degrees of the room, but degrees in levels. So wilayah is a station or a level with Allah that He puts people on according to what He wants, what He chooses, and who they are. And what, you think that person, that sister, she makes a mistake, talks to a guy with a six-pack, or is it pecs or abs, or what is it, or the delts? What is it? Glutes?
Come on, man.
Glutes, oh, glutes. Okay, that's a bit personal, bro. It's in the older section, so we can't really... Biceps, the guy's got massive 20-inch guns, huge biceps,
20 years.
and she talks to him, whatever, she wants to touch the guy's guns. Oh, big guns, you got big guns with biceps. She wants to touch the guy's biceps. Are we too mature for this conversation?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
She makes a mistake, she repents back to Allah. You think she's still not it's not a wilayah? She's seeing it all day long. But the thing is, she's not putting it in her heart. She's not every time she sees one, she's checking the, I want my husband. He's got to be 6'4", and six-pack and delts and whatever else. She's not putting that into her mind. She says, I want a man who's pious. I want a man. I don't want a boy. I want a man. You think that's not a wilayah? You think that Allah's not going to accept that person if she repents and she makes a mistake? Of course. That dhikr of Allah, for those who want to get to that level, that's what will get you there. And who are on that level to get higher, the dhikr of Allah will increase what a person has. So don't sell yourself short. Don't want the dirt that's out there, the filth that's out there. Don't strive for that. Don't strive for that. Strive to be normal, like the Prophet of Allah said. That's normal. Don't strive to be abnormal or even deviant. It's deviancy. That's deviancy. This is how deviant it is. I was telling you, I haven't heard this story for long. I haven't recited the story for a long time. And take it in its context. When we were young, we went to a function, and one of the ladies there, everyone said this lady's a prostitute. In those days, like I don't know if it's normal, but in those days it was big. Is it still big these days?
No, it was big in those days.
Yeah, but now the prostitute's normal, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Second job. Second job.
Allah used bro, Anyway, I've never seen a prostitute before, never heard of him and all that sort of stuff. So we said, let's go talk to her. Went and talked to her. She was very nice, actually. Very down to earth. Very, hey.
Come on, man.
No, but I'm not a paying customer, so I don't have to worry about that. But she was down to earth, and then we started speaking this, that. And then this is what. Then I asked her. She goes, "Look, I've got heaps of money, and I've got houses, and I'm a professional. I'm not a drug addict and all that." I go, all right. How many men do you think you slept with? And she said 5. I freaked out. Well, you said you had a house in Potts Point, and 2 units in Potts Point, a house somewhere. This, that, this. How have you only slept? Deviant, huh?
John Howard.
Deviant. She goes, I only slept with 5 men. I only slept with 5 men. I go, I got shocked. I go, what do you mean? How long have you been doing this? She said, like 9 years. I said, but didn't you have all this property? I said, how is that? She goes, oh, I've only had 5 boyfriends. All the rest is business.
Oh, dear God.
Deviant. And when she said it, she was completely convinced. It was like 5. It was like, no, she didn't have to think. That's her life. That's what she thinks. That's what she thinks. And do you think these people that we're seeing, they're happy? Like the stars and these people in particular, they're all deviant. All these people are deviant.
Drugs.
They're all lost it. They don't live a normal life. And they're told what to do. Anyway, so if you want to aspire to be deviant, then follow what's out there. If you want to aspire to be normal, then follow the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. And that remembrance will keep you away from the deviancy. Especially when you start to love it, man. When you're somewhere and something bad happens, and instead of saying a 4-letter swear word, you say, Astaghfirullah. Watch how you feel. You feel like I don't know what happens to me, rarely that it does. I feel like I'm on top of Everest. I feel like I climbed Everest because it came from inside. I didn't have to say, Astaghfirullah in my mind. Straight away, La hawla wa la quwwata, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi. It's true. It's real. And you know why you feel like you're on Everest? Because Allah's remembering you then. That's that time, that split second. That split second, bro, when you sis. That split second, bang, it hits the heart. Doesn't matter what the situation was. You remember Allah, you're successful. Car accident, you remember Allah. You lost the money, you remember Allah. You're successful. You're successful, that's the success. And then you just deal with the problem as it goes. But once you know it's from Allah, it's not a problem anymore, it's dealt with. You just go through the motions and the thing, and that's it. So, that's the choice for you. And dhikr, it's such a big key, because what did he say? When should we do dhikr?
While sitting, standing,
Any situation except
toilet, janaba.
toilet, janaba, and when there's rubbish, like if you're at the, like I live in the units, so when we go down to put the rubbish, there's a room and it's got all the bins in it, so you wouldn't say it in there. If you're going to get the rubbish for the gents, because
Is that what shaitan?
that's what men should be doing. Women shouldn't be taking out the rubbish. When you're opening the bin and you're putting the rubbish into the wheelie bin, you shouldn't be saying Bismillah or something like that, because it's filth. Anything filthy like that, najis, najasa. So other than that, so when you're chilling out watching TV, it's all right, man. Put the mute on, mute the ads. Don't worry, so you can watch your show. Watch it, don't worry. But in that 5 minutes, remember Allah. And watch, man. When you remember Allah and you watch TV and you go back to remembering Allah, you think of that minute or 10 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours is the deadest time, and you feel so dead. I want you to feel that. I want you to feel that when you're disconnected from your phone or away from your phone, that boredness or that, what would you call it? How would you describe it? Emptiness. That emptiness that you feel. I want you to get in tune with it. I want you to get in touch with it. The good stuff will come, but see the emptiness over this next week. I want everyone to come next week with something written down. Something written down. Don't tell me write something down. Write something down in your notebook that I felt this emptiness then. I want to ask everyone to say it. So write one. If you have something very private, write the private one. And if you have something that you can say public, leave that public one. Because when you get in touch with that emptiness, then you can go forward. If you're not in touch with it, you don't know you're empty. Alright? We agree to all do that, inshallah?
Inshallah.
Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.